Week 7 of my coronavirus log.
Day 41, Saturday, April 25th. Never thought I'd be doing this, driving along with a mask and gloves on, listening to Minor Threat in a global pandemic. What a weird freaking time. Beautiful day out though. Getting ready to have the social distancing event.
I've been wearing masks to the store, but first time I've been out since it became mandatory. Social distancing happy hour. It was nice to see everybody. It was a beautiful day out. This really has brought out the best of the neighborhood. It's always been a great neighborhood full of good people. For instance, my mower is not back from the guy who services it over the winter, so my neighbor across the street is like, let me mow your lawn for you. My other neighbor had extra for dinner, so she dropped off dinner on my porch for me. Just good people. Day 42, Sunday, April 26th. Beautiful day yesterday. Going to be a little overcast and rainy today, but I'll trade that because it was just almost a perfect day yesterday. Really made for the neighborhood social distancing happy hour that we have on the cul-de-sac. Really worth it. Just beautiful day. Not too hot, not too cold, not windy, no rain. Got to catch up with everybody. Really love my neighborhood. I highlighted there about how we take care of each other. And my one neighbor mowed my lawn, the other one dropped off dinner, and we always try and do that for each other. And it's one of the reasons I love being here. But otherwise, nice weekend. Been reading this book called Our Band Could Be Your Life by Michael Azerrad, all about the 80s punk scene, that's right in my wheelhouse from when I was a kid. I mean, I was born in 70, so I went into my teens in the 1980s, and all the music they're talking about is all stuff that hit me via Colgate University college radio as a kid. Interesting fact, and I'll share it after this or in the middle of this. Part of the book, I'm sitting there listening to it because I do everything on Audible now. I don't really read, I just listen. They talk about Ian MacKaye, who is the lead singer of Minor Threat, just an iconic punk band, was going to visit from DC, going to visit a buddy of his who was in college at Colgate. And on the way up there, they had not formed Minor Threat yet, but they were discussing about, okay, this is the next band. They were already in a band that had broken up, and they're like, hey, this is what our next band's name's going to be, Minor Threat.
Right after the final Teen Idol show, MacKaye and Nelson brainstormed ideas for their next band on a long drive up to Colgate University in upstate New York, where Mark Sullivan was enrolled. By the time they got back, it was decided. The band was going to be called Minor Threat.
So I was like, oh, shit, he could have been driving through my hometown. Maybe saw a little me coming out of the store or something like that. And like, hey, that kid's a minor threat. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But really interesting book. It's it's Black Flag, it's Minor Threat, it's Husker Du, it's the Minutemen, Mission of Burma, Fugazi, just all the iconic bands that kind of influenced everything in the 80s and continues to this day, at least the kind of music I like. So, but anyway, that's it. You don't want to go out because it's raining. You don't want to go for a WALK for the same reason. I've been petting you and hugging you, so you've got plenty of attention. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, Sammy. Do you want to try going out? We will try that. Is there a squirrel outside? You want to try going outside? All right, so we're trying the outside thing.
You gonna go do your business? So I've got to run on her because she will totally squeeze under that fence. This is a dog that won't go through a door unless it's wide open. Yet somehow she squeezes under a fence with like a 2-inch spot. I don't know how she does it. So I told you didn't want to go outside because it's raining. But you still want a treat. The whole point of these treats was that, in theory, I've had a lot of dogs, but in theory, I was going to train her to come inside by giving her a treat when she came and she was called. What's really happened is that she's trained me that whenever she comes inside, which is pretty much whenever the hell she decides to, regardless of when I call her, she gets a treat. So who got trained? Today's one of those days, probably because it's cold and rainy out, that just nothing seems to stick. You know, I start watching one show, like I was watching Letterkenny. I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. So I start watching some Star Wars shit, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking watch this either. So now I'm watching High Fidelity, not the movie, but the new series on Hulu. And I'm like, I don't really want to watch this either. It's the same thing with like meals. Like, I'm like, I feel like having some potato chips. Started eating potato. I'm like, I don't really want potato chips. Let me grab an Oreo. I don't want an Oreo. I'm like, what the fuck? And I got my freaking hood up. Maybe that's what it is. So I did keep watching it and totally psyched. They've got stiff little fingers in it, just like in the original. One of my favorite bands. Good morning, Monday, April 27th, day 43 of the quarantine. It was a good weekend, kind of rainy yesterday. I'm back at work. Well, back at work here in my home office. You can hear some of my alarms going off for a meeting I got coming up. No idea when we're really going back. I had originally thought maybe back May 1st, but that is looking like it's going to be too soon. I think they're going to end up staggering us back into the office, and teams like mine that can work from home probably will continue to work from home. Will not surprise me if we end up working from home through 4th of July, maybe even all summer. And I was talking with one of my neighbors and coworkers about this, about some of the changes you're going to see come about with the quote-unquote new normal coming out of COVID. One of the things I think a lot of businesses are going to discover is that, okay, geez, if people can work from home, they might let them. And then the natural thing after that is, all right, if people can work remotely, you could end up seeing an increase in globalization as well. Because why pay somebody to do it in New York if you could pay somebody to do it in China or India for a significantly lower price? We'll see. I'm speculating. I've had a lot of experience with that already, having teams support me from offshore. And it's got its pros and cons. It definitely is. It is definitely cheaper, but it doesn't necessarily always mean it's better. But it can work. So we'll see. And especially as a guy who here, I can work remote. You wonder what's going to happen. But otherwise, still managing through. It'll be nice to get back to some sense of normal. But, it may be years until we're back to normal. And some of the people are saying that as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the states down south, Georgia, South Carolina, et cetera, that are opening up. What happens with the rate of infection there, how they manage it. Hopefully people don't get sick.
but I'm skeptical. Anyways, back at it. Not surprising, the Foo Fighters canceled their 4th of July 25th anniversary festival.
Hey you, don't you know I think I am? Yeah, a big fish, a small town, a Romeo that turns your mother on. Take it off, take it off. Backseat, a Rolls Royce, a radio. I don't wanna talk about it. Turn it up, turn it up. Yeah. Do you wanna be a prima donna with me tonight? Do you wanna, oh don't you wanna be a prima donna with me tonight? So come on, bring it on. Don't you know it's all about me tonight? Come on, try it on. Be a prima donna with me tonight, yeah.
Tuesday, April 28th, day 44 of the quarantine. Something I've been doing every morning is doing a tweet with Brian Koppelman and a whole crew that are doing this tweet showing the Royale, and there's even a special mug. And he sold it. Actually, the proceeds go to the food bank in New York. But I've been doing a tweet and showing a show poster that I've got hanging up on the walls you see behind me. Problem is I've actually gone through every poster that I have hanging up on the walls in my house. So I'm at the point now where I'm going to actually start swapping out some of the posters that I have hanging up. So I've got a bunch that are just in storage in a portfolio. I got 3 big portfolios full of them. So good excuse to rotate them out.
Time to name our healthcare hero of the week. He is an emergency and trauma nurse from Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx, New York. Say hello to TJ Riley. Hi, TJ.
Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? I'm very excited to meet you.
We looked into some of your likes, and I know you're a music fan.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce you to somebody, TJ. His name is Dave. Dave, say hello to TJ.
Dave!
Hey, TJ!
Dave, I am a huge fan. Huge fan. My friend Kelly's going to be jealous. He's going to be so jealous. I'm going to text her after all this, tell her that I met you. Dave, I'm a huge fan. Huge! Oh my God.
How are you doing? How are you?
I'm going a little out of my mind currently now. I feel like I'm having a coronavirus dream. This is crazy.
Oh, no.
My goodness.
Dave, you gave him a relapse.
That's the effect I have on most people, I think, yeah.
Huh?
We both very much appreciate what you're doing there, TJ. And our friends at Life is Good Apparel Company want to send you $10,000 to spend however you like. They have a new line of merchandise called Tees for the Times to help spread optimism during this time. And they're going to send gift packages to each of the nurses in your department to thank and honor them too. So
That's amazing. Thank you.
And Dave, do you have anything you'd like to share with TJ right now?
Let me see. I just happen to have a guitar in my lap.
Oh.
Maybe I'll play a little song.
Yes!
Well, that would be terrific.
Do it.
Okay, this one's for you, TJ. Hello, I've waited here for you Everlong. Tonight I throw myself into and out of the red, out of her head she sang. Come down and waste away with me. Down with me. Slow how you wanted it to be. I'm over my head, out of her head she sang. And I wonder, when I sing along with you, if everything could ever feel this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say where she said. That's for you.
That is awesome. I'm seeing the hands
Dave.
like in the video, so people around.
High five.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl, you're the best. Thank you so much, Dave. You are the
Hey
best.
man,
I
thanks to
appreciate
both
that.
of you. I'd like to really, TJ, thank you so much for everything that you've done for so many people. It's much appreciated. And Jimmy, thanks for honoring such brilliant people, for doing the right thing.
And thank you for fighting Foo all the time, Dave Grohl. And TJ, thank you so much. Be safe, TJ. Take care. Keep doing this great
Thank you.
work.
TJ.
Wednesday, April 29th, day 45 of the quarantine. One thing I'm noticing is I'm having insomnia more than I ever have. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's just being cooped up in the house is having some kind of effect on me. Could be freaking one thing I started drinking again is Coke, which I hadn't been drinking that for a while, so maybe the caffeine's doing it. But all I know is more often than I have had in the past, I've had really trouble sleeping. Like I was up at like 3 in the morning for no reason last night. Anyway, powering through. This was something Consequence of Sound published yesterday that 60% of Americans don't feel safe attending concerts or other large gatherings until there's a vaccine. And honestly, I reluctantly have to agree with that. Until there's a vaccine, I don't see how we can. Thursday, April 30th, day 46. Here's Sammy coming to say hi. We'll see how long I keep doing these. Because it's obvious this is going to go on for quite a while. I'm not going to be returning to working in the office or my team anytime soon. So I don't know if I'm going to have that much interesting to say for, on day 100. So we'll see. But anyway, this is Samantha. You guys see me walking her all the time. And she wanted some attention. Something I've been enjoying, I've been seeing more of during quarantine as well, is you've got a lot of artists that are basically doing podcasts but recording them on Zoom. And you just get to see some good conversations between some of these artists. Like I'm going to share one with Frank Turner and Jerit, what the hell is his name? Jerit Reddick of Bowling for Soup. And then another one with Chris Shiflett of the Foo Fighters talking with Brian Fallon. And they're just having conversations about stuff, and you kind of get a kind of cool insight into
so and growing up, like all these American bands would come through, and they'd just be like so fucking well rehearsed and so tight, and it would be like, oh, cool, because you can just fucking practice at home.
I have a great story about that, actually. My so until I was around 14, we practiced at my house, and we had a spare bedroom. My brother had gone off to college, so we got to essentially just take over a whole room in my house. And so it was pretty much limited to weekends, but I was a drummer. So even that, I mean, I have next door neighbors and all of that. And so it was very, very loud at times. And my band was practicing one day, and my mom is not one of those to be messed with. She just isn't. You just don't mess with her. And so somebody called the police, and the police came, and they said, Mr. Reddick, we've got a noise complaint or whatever, and she goes, oh, yeah, you do? Right? Yes, sir. Neighbor is saying, that it's too loud right now. And she said, well, here's the thing. I know where my son is because I can hear him. So you go over there and you ask her if she knows where her son is. Right. Like, they're called garage bands for a reason. We started in garages.
Yeah, it's just the houses are further apart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did. I mean, I was thinking about that statement that I made earlier since making it, and I sort of realized there was like my buddy Chris, who was my best mate growing up. He lived next door to me until we were about 10, and then he moved to the nearby town. We grew up in a village, and he had like a bedroom there where we could rehearse during the day on the weekends, kind of thing. So we did do that, but I've never been able to rehearse in a place that I live. Incidentally, that reminded me of a story a friend of mine told me years ago, which is that his grandmother, and I want to say this was in Toronto, but I might not be right about the city, but essentially his grandmother, when his mother was a kid, his grandmother was like a bit of a battle axe anyway, and she used to complain about this band rehearsing across the street like all the fucking time, calling the cops on them all the fucking time, just going, and it was Creedence Clearwater Revival as they formed, like as they first started being a band.
That's great.
And years later people kind of said, wow, well, they went on to become one of the most important and enormous and celebrated bands in country rock history, and she still didn't give a fuck. She was just like so
I come to my studio, I write, I put in a shift, maybe nothing comes of it, but maybe you just get a little gem, and it's like that's definitely the when I'm in the groove doing that, I'm really like kind of feel the most like, I don't know, like satisfied, just kind of satiated with it,
That's exactly when I'm writing. Like when it comes time to be like, yo, I need to write, I feel that thing. That's how I do it. It's like 9 to 3. I've just dropped the kids off. Like I'm working, Yeah. But like, that just comes from that's my thing. Like I used to do construction before bands. So like, I've always got that thing, like strapping on the hammer, we're doing it.
Yeah. No, I know. It's funny, man. I look back at like my young adult life, and I was never one of those dudes that like, I'm living with my stripper girlfriend, she's paying the bill. I always had some shitty job delivering pizzas or working in an office somewhere, you know what I mean? Like I was always the guy that was up till fucking 4 a.m. and had to get up at 6 to take the bus to work or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
I feel that.
I know. I think that's a good thing.
You got to do it, These hands are, these hands are meant for working, I guess.
Totally.
TGI Friday. It is Friday, May 1st, day number 47 of the quarantine. You can see my dog's tail wagging in the background there. She came in to say hi. Come here, Sammy. Anyway, glad it's Friday. They don't mean what they used to be with the quarantine. A Shaky Knees Festival would have been happening this weekend down in Atlanta. And, I just don't see that any concerts coming back anytime soon. But as you've seen, maybe with the tweets I start each day's summary off with, I've been sharing all the show posters I have. You see a bunch of them behind me here in my office. And sharing those as part of the daily Royale tweet, which is where this mug came from. I think I shared this before, that Mr. Brian Koppelman had set up and really got a nice little community, a nice little scene of people every morning going in and just sharing a picture. And especially at a time when we're all socially distanced, it's a nice way to pull people together and give a sense of community and create a little scene. So, but it was kind of cool. He actually, a couple of people have commented on great taste in music and stuff. And actually Brian did this morning, which means a lot to me because I really enjoy his podcast and his work. And he's had some great artists on, and he talks musical a lot. He comes from his family was in the music industry, as was he. Actually, I think he discovered Tracy Chapman back in the day. But I could tell we have very similar musical tastes. So a shout out from him, and then he actually followed me, which is kind of cool. I'm like a fanboy. It was kind of neat, and but it doesn't surprise me because it's one of those things. It's like, oh boy, you like red licorice? Great taste. I like red licorice too. It's all about preference. There's no such thing as wrong musical taste. It's only it might be something. Hey, you may like freaking Dio and I don't know, Striker or some hair metal band that is not my scene. Doesn't mean you're wrong. You just got different tastes than me. I always call it black licorice, red licorice. I like red licorice. I don't care for black licorice. That doesn't mean that black licorice is immoral or inherently inferior or wrong. It's just not my taste. So, but anyways, I got to think about the format I'm going to do for this because it looks like I'm going to be working from home probably through the summer. And I do these for about a half an hour each time, and I kind of divvy it up into my music, the daily intro like I'm doing now, kind of Craig's Musings where I just talk about whatever, live stream that I'll be watching during the week, and then finally Quarantine Vinyl. So maybe I'll just try and do something a little different format. I don't know, and maybe I won't even continue to do it. But I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing that. If I'm anything, I'm a creature of habit. Not that I think there's somebody out there that's demanding this, but it's just still kind of fun to do. But at some point, it's going to go beyond the initial intent, which is kind of same sense of community to say, hey, we're all going through this together, as well as a documentation, as much for me as anybody else, of what this was like, to now we're kind of in the new normal. So I don't know if there'll be a ton more to document, but we'll see. Maybe I'll keep it going. You guys can put comments if you're freaking reading this at all, and let me know if you've got suggestions. Maybe I'll put that out with the post. So either way, cheers to you. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you get a little satisfaction out of this, even if it just makes you be like, God, this guy's an idiot. I feel so much better about myself that I'm not him. Hey, whatever gets you through the day. Take care, guys. All right, that wraps up another week. I'm in a t-shirt because I took the dog out for a walk and got rained on, so my shirt is drying. But anyway, hopefully everybody's doing well. Hopefully you're getting a kick out of pieces of these. But be well and stay safe.